Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this cute little duck. He is what I consider a no-sew body pattern, which means we'll start by making his little wings, and then we'll make his feet, and then we'll move on to the top of his head, work our way down, add the wings, work on the body, add the eyes and stuff, and then we'll attach the legs, finish stuffing him and close him up, and then we will have to sew on the nose and any little embellishments that we want to add. And if you don't want to make your duck in the Mallard colors, you can also just follow along without the color changes and make yourself a cute little duckling. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 14 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. Okay, grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we are going to start with the wings, so grab whatever color you've decided to use. And you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making a knot with a loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Whoop. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, and chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of your tail, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 9. So 1 single crochet for 1, an increase for 2 and 3, single crochet, 4, increase, 5 and 6, single crochet, 7, and an increase, 8 and 9. And make sure it's curling kind of towards you up so you're not doing it inside out. Row 3, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 12. So 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, and repeat that around, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, repeat again, 9, 10, and our last increase, 11 and 12. Row 4, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 15. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14, and on our second stitch of our increase, we're going to go in, pull up, leave those 2 loops on the hook because we're going to change our color to white now. All right, so grab your new color and we're going to tie it nice and tight as close to the hook as we can, 2 or 3 times. Now I'm going to leave my brown because we're going to go back to it. And I'm just going to let it kind of hang out. And I'm going to do that with all my color changes and then cut them when we're done with whatever color. So now we're just going to grab that new color and we're going to pull it through those 2 loops to finish off that last stitch of the last increase of our previous row. Row 5, we are just going to do 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then on our 15th one, we're going to again change color. So leave the 2 loops of on your hook. And now you're going to grab your blue. And now we're going to tie the blue to the white, nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can. 2 or 3 times. And then now we're going to grab that blue and bring it through those last 2 loops to finish off that last stitch of the previous row. And again, I'm not cutting my white because I'm going to need it in a couple of rows. Row 6, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 7, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then on the 5th one we're going to change back to our white. So just pull up those 2 loops. And we are finished with the blue, so I am going to cut the blue now. Whoop. And we're going to tie the blue to the white. It's going to be a bit of a mess, but just take your time. So nice and tight, as close to that hook as you can get it. And then we're going to grab that white, pull it through to finish off that last stitch. Row 8, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and on our 15th one, we're going to go in and pull up, leaving those 2 loops on the hook, because now we're going to go back to brown. So I'm going to cut my white, because we're finished with the white. And this time, because your brown is coming from way about 4 rows away, you want to make sure you don't pull the brown too tight, but you want your knot to still be nice and tight at the hook. So you want a little bit of slack in the brown, and then tie your knot. And I'll show you once I'm done tying. So you just don't want to pull your yarn, so you're putting a pucker in your wing. Let's fold this inside out. So see how it's nice and loose just across the back of my stitches. And then you're just going to pull through to finish off that last stitch of the previous row. Row 9, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 10, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 11, we are going to do 3 single crochets, a 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 12. So 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. And repeat that around. 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Row 12, we're just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 13, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 9. 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9. And then we are going to do 2 more single crochets so that we can make our color change steps here kind of end up on the side in the back so we don't see them. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. So when we fold it in half to close it, these will be in the back and you won't see them. All right, now to close, we're going to go in the next stitch, and then we're going to go in the last stitch. So just should look just like this. And we're going to do 4 single crochets across. 1 through the front and through the back. 2 through the front and through the back. 3, and then we're just going to catch this little piece here. 4. And then we're going to tie off. Leave yourself a little bit of a tail, because even though we're not sewing these on, I do something at the end that helps secure them so they're not flopping around. So if you've just finished your first wing, I will be putting a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second wing. And then if you are done your second wing, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. All right, now we're going to do the leg. So grab whatever color you want for the leg. And again, you can begin any way you prefer. I'll be doing the knot with the loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Insert my hook. Grab my yarn. Chain 1, and remember that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then remember, pull that tail if you need to close up that hole. All right, grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase, 7 and 8, increase, 9 and 10, whoops, 10 still, and our last increase, 11 and 12. All right, row 3, we're going to be doing a little bit different than usual, so I'm going to go nice and slow, and I'll also break it up along the cross of the top. Okay, so we're going to start with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we are going to do 2 increases in this same stitch. So we're going to put 4 in this stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. 1, 2, and again we're going to do 2 increases in the same stitch, so 4 single crochets in that same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to do 4 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should look like this. So you've got 2 kind of almost square corners on each end. Row 4, kind of the same thing. We're going to start off with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do 1 increase in the next stitch. So that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And now we're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, all in that same stitch. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. 1, 2. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, all in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 1 increase in the next stitch. That's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And then we should have 6 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's going to look a little bit like this. Row 5, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, whoops, 24. Row 6, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 7, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oops, I think I just got under one V there. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 8, we are going to start off with 7 single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to do 6 invisible decreases. And if you've never done invisible decreases before, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to come up through the middle of that V of the next 2 stitches. So front loop, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 front loops on your hook. Then you're going to grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1 invisible decrease, front loop, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 front loops, grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that's 2 invisible decrease, that's 3 invisible decrease, that's 4 invisible decrease, that's 5 invisible decrease, that's 6. And then we should have 5 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row 9, we are going to be doing 4 single crochets to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to do 6 invisible decreases. So remember the front loops of the next 2 stitches. 1 invisible decrease, that's 2 invisible decrease, that's 3 almost, there we go, invisible decrease, that's 4 invisible decrease. So I'm not great at these either. That's why I only do them where I need to. That's 5 invisible decrease. That's 6. And then we should have 2 stitches left to finish off the row. 1, 2. So our little foot should look like this. All right, now rows 10 to 17 are just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 8 rows of 12. 8 times 12 is 96. So I'm going to do 96 single crochets, and I'm just going to flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I flip my marker but keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Flipping my marker, keep on counting. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, whoops, 70, 71, 72, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Okay, now we can take our stitch marker out and we're going to stuff our leg now, so you can get your stuffing out and ready. Okay, so grab yourself a nice handful of stuffing and we're just going to take bits and pieces at a time. First thing we want to do is find the front of our foot, so that will be where we did all the increases on each side. So that's going to be the two fronts, and then this is going to be the back. So what you want to do is take a little bit of your stuffing and we're going to push it up over to one side of the foot in the top corner. And then we're going to take another little piece and we're going to put it over in the other corner. And I'm using the palm of my hand to keep my foot nice and flat if I can. Just kind of double check that you're in the right spot. So right here and here. And also make sure you're not opening up your stitches. Like, see, I'm starting to open that. You don't want any more stuffing in there if you're at that point. And then now we're going to put stuffing in the back of the foot and we're just going to kind of push it down and then forward if we need to. So down. Don't really need to go forward too much on mine. Put a little bit more in, just so it's kind of on the firmer side so it holds its shape. And then start going up the leg. I'm just going to squish mine down a bit, just shape it a bit. And then you're going to stuff the leg till you get to about the second row on top. So you have about one or two rows left there, and that'll just give us enough space to kind of close it. So it kind of closes in a triangular shape. So when he's sitting, his little belly doesn't make him flop backwards. And then we're going to put our hook back in. And just like we did the wing, we're going to do 5 single crochets across. So starting in that next stitch. And then on the back side in the last stitch. And 5 single crochets. 1, make sure you're going through both sides. 2, 3, that off. And again, leave a little bit of a tail. I don't do much with the ends of the legs, but we are going to flip them to the inside and tie them just so they're secure on the inside. So if you have just finished your first leg, I again will be putting a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp, so you can go back and do your second leg. And then if you've finished your second leg, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. All right, now we're going to start the top of the head. And again, you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, chain 1, and remember that does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull this tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and our last increase, 41 and 42. Row 8, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 9, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 10, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 11, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 12, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 13, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 14, 32 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 15, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, decrease for 36. Row 16, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and our last decrease for 30. Row 17, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and our last decrease for 24. Row 18, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. And as we're doing our decrease, we're going to stop when we have the 3 loops on our hook, because now we're going to change to white. So I'm going to cut off my green here. Grab your white. Now you're going to tie those 2 together, your old color and your new color, nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to grab your new color and you're going to pull it through all 3 of those loops to finish off that last decrease of the previous row. Row 19, we are going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 20, 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and on our 18th one, just stop when you have your 2 loops on the hook, because now we're going to be changing to the dark brown. So I'm going to cut off my white. So now we're going to tie our dark brown to our white. I'm going to tie that nice and close. Whoops. Nice and tight, as close to the hook as we can get it. So that's about 3 times. And then we are going to grab that new color, pull it through those 2 loops to finish off that last stitch of that last row. Okay, we're going to add the wings now, so grab those, get them ready. I'm going to change my camera angle so I can hopefully show you a little better, and I will meet you right back. All right, row 21. We are going to start off with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now grab your first wing, and keeping in mind the back is where our stitch marker is. We want these strings to be facing the front of our duck. And we're going to do 4 single crochets through the wing and through the head. So in that first stitch of the wing, and I apologize if you can't see it because it's dark, and through the first stitch of the head, or the next stitch of the head. So 1 through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 2, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 3, through the wing, and through the next stitch of the head, that's 4. And then we are going to do 4 single crochets across the front. Make sure you're starting in the next stitch because it's really easy to go in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to grab our other wing. Again, make sure your strings are facing the front and not the back. And we're going to do 4 single crochets through the wing and through the head. So through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 1, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 2, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 3, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head, that's 4. And then you should have 3 single crochets left to finish off. 1, 2, 3. Row 22, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, increase, 3, and 4. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8. And as you're going around, when you hit these arm strings, make sure they stay on the outside because that's where we'll need them for later. 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 23, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and on our 24th stitch we are going to stop with our 2 loops on our hook because we're going to change to our lighter brown now. So I'm going to cut off my dark brown just going to tie our two colors together nice and tight, as close to that hook as we can get it. Two or three times. And then we're going to pull our new color through our last stitch of the previous row to finish that off. All right, I think let's put the eyes on now, since we're kind of at a bit of a stopping point. So we're just going to flatten out our guy. We're going to use our wings to center our head. We're just going to get that nice and flat. Get your eyes ready. And I'm going to just grab a pin just to show you what we're going to do. So what we want to do is we want to have our eyes between rows 9 and 10. So we're going to start at our beginning loop as row 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just between rows 9 and 10. And I'm just marking the row for a second. Then I'm going to find my center. And I am definitely way off. So I'm just going to use these stitches. So right here is the center of my neck. And then here is the center of my head. And I'm just going to kind of visually line those up. Actually, I'm not as far off as I thought. And I'm going to be going in a stitch, not in a hole. So I'm just going to double check again. No, I'm going to go one more over. And I can always move them back if I don't like them once I have them in. Then you're going to grab one of your eyes and you're going to count the first hole on the one side of your pin. So you have a hole on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to go in that fourth hole. Then you're going to take your other eye and do the same thing. So there's a hole on this side of your pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that fourth hole. And then you're just going to have another look. Make sure they're where you want them. I think that's okay. I kind of use your thumbs a bit to see if I'm just kind of at the center of my eye, and I'm happy with where they are, so I'm going to put them in. And what I do, if you find it hard to add your eyes this late, is you put your thumb on the eyeball, and we're going to push that up and through without stretching it, the neck. So just through the neck there, that gives you nice, good access to your post. Then you're just going to slide your back on. Then we'll do that to the other side. So thumb on the eye, push it through the neck hole, up. Try not to stretch your stitches when you do this. And then add your back and squish it on. There we go, I got all 3. You can add some stuffing now if you want in your head. I'm going to wait till after the legs are on. It just makes it a little easier for me. Get our hook back in. Yeah. Actually, this is going to be hard to see. I might get a darker background here and then I'll join you back. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Okay, so for row 24, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 25, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 26, we are going to do 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 27, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 28, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 29, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 30, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 31, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so that was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 32, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease for 30. Row 33, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. All right, we're going to do the legs now, so grab those and get them ready. All right, just a quick note, if you are left-handed doing this row, you may be doing this row backwards. Okay, so for row 34, the leg row, we are going to start off with 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that should bring you to your first wing, right in the middle of the wing. So now we're going to grab our first leg, and you want to make sure that the toes are facing down towards the body and the head. And we're going to do 5 single crochets through the leg and through the body. So into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 1. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 2. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 3. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 4. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 5. And then you're going to flip that string to the inside. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. Make sure you are in the next stitch. 1, 2. Then you're going to grab your other leg. Again, make sure the toes are down, facing the body and the head. And we're going to do 5 single crochets through the leg and through the body. So into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 1. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 2. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 3. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 4. Into the leg, into the next stitch of the body. That's 5. And again, throw that string to the inside. If you happen to forget, you can get your darning needle, and then you'll just put it in the stitch to the inside when you finish the row. And then we should have 4 single crochets left. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now let's tie these strings, and we'll add our stuffing now because we only have a couple of rows left. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our tails from our legs, and we're just going to loosely tie them so they just kind of sit against the outside of the body, or inside, I guess. So just on the around the body there. So if you need to, tie it loose and then slowly tighten as you go, because you don't want your legs to go up like this, and that's what will happen if you pull them too tight. I've done it many times. All right, so if you've already stuffed the head, you have a little job right now. I gotta do my whole head. If you haven't stuffed your head yet, make sure you get that head nice and firm. You want it to be kind of a little bigger than the body. And I'm holding the neck just to kind of support those stitches so I don't stretch them. And as you're going, just double check that it's going nice and round. Every once in a while, I'll take my fingers and just spread it out to the sides. And then you can put your stuffing down in the middle of that hole that you just made. Okay, I have a few spots that feel like they're empty yet, so we still gotta add a little bit more. Just be very careful as you're doing this that you're not stretching these stitches. There's nothing like doing all this work and then having your stuffing showing through. So that's pretty good. Maybe I'll just put a little bit more in. It's surprising how much stuffing it actually goes in these guys. All right, and I'm just gonna lightly put a little bit of stuffing in the neck since we have a bit of a neck on this guy. I'm gonna be pushing it out to the sides or nothing, just to keep it stable. It shouldn't flop unless you decided to add a couple extra rows for a longer neck, and then you may have to add a support in there of some sort. So just kind of make sure it's the right shape. And then I'm just going to add a little bit into the body, and then I'll add the rest when I get down to my last row. Oh, lots in the body, I guess. Okay, that should be good for now. Oops, sorry, I was just about getting out of the camera there. All right, let's get our hook back in. Our mess of tails everywhere. All right, row 35, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, decrease for 3. Make sure you're not catching your stuffing as you're going around. 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Row 36, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 12. 1, decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7. Oopsie, decrease for 8. 9. Decrease for 10. 11. And a decrease for 12. All right, we just have one more row left, so if you still need to add stuffing, you're going to want to do it now. I'm going to scooch all my stuffing to the sides. And I'm going to grab a big chunk and try and stick it down the middle there. Make sure that your bottom is going to be flat before you close up. And sometimes I like to kind of push my stuffing out to the butt in the back area, and that will help him not tip over. I just kind of stick it back in there, and it just gives him a little more stability when he's sitting. All right, that should be lots. In row 37, we're going to do 6 decreases. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail so that we can close up that hole. Oh, almost cut the wrong string. All right, now we're going to close this guy up. So let's take out the stitch marker. We don't need that anymore. And we're going to thread our tail onto our darning needle. And all we're going to do is weave in and out of the top stitch of the last row we just did. So in one side, I always go on the inside in hopes that that knot goes in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And if you happen to be doing this in plush yarn, try going through the first 3, pulling it tight, and then going through the last 3. If your yarn breaks easily, that will help a lot. There's nothing like getting right here, and then your yarn snaps on you. If that does happen, undo it, reattach up here like you were doing a color change, and then just add a little bit more yarn to it and continue your stitches. Or that's what I do anyways, because you're never gonna probably get the same, never gonna probably be able to finish it with a broken end. All right, and then I just tied my knot in the next stitch over, and now I'm going to come down the center and try and hide that knot in one of the stitches. So I'll go in, out the back somewhere. Oh, I got this weird stuffing and it doesn't let me slide my needle through it. I can feel it right there. It's almost out. I don't know, I'm almost finished my bag of stuffing. I got another one, but I haven't checked to see if it's the same or like my old stuff. All right, and give that a good pull. Not only does that push that knot in, but it also kind of flattens the bottom a bit. Cut that off. And then we're going to do the arms, or wings, sorry. So thread one of your wing tails on. It doesn't matter which one because we'll be doing the exact same thing for each side. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your little knot. So that's your tie-off knot and your last stitch where you attach the arm. And you're just going to go in there, flip it around, and you're going to come out in the back of the neck somewhere. I would stay in the same color just in case you end up seeing it. You shouldn't, but it's a general good rule to follow, just in case. So now I'm putting on my other arm tail, your wing tail. I don't know, I'm so used to doing arms, but I'm loving these birds. I have about 6 other ones downstairs that I need to do yet. Okay, so in that hole, right where the knot is, and the last stitch that you attached your wing, and then you're going to come out that same hole that your other string came out. Now we're going to give them one tie. And you want to keep track of your string so you know which tail goes to what wing. So just slowly tie that, wrap them around the neck, flip them over. And now you're going to pull these knots inside. And then I'm just going to squeeze them a little more. It'll bring the wings forward a bit. So just pull till you're happy with where they're sitting. And then you're going to flip them back over and tie that a couple times to secure them where you want them. Then we'll thread those back on. And then just go in that same stitch and out into the body somewhere. And then we'll give that a cut. All right, now we're going to do the beak, and we're going to start with a chain. So you can make your chain any way you prefer. I like to make a knot with a loop on the end, so I fold my yarn in half. I'm going to grab that loop up at the top, wrap it around my fingers, down, around, and through to make my knot. I'm going to pinch that loop, and then I'm going to slide my knot up. And I want my loop to be just a little bit bigger than my hook. Insert your hook, and we are going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our next stitch, we're going to start in the second stitch from our hook. So the loop on our hook does not count. So there's our first chain, there's our second chain. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the end. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets in this end, and we're going to pivot it around so we end up on the back side of our chain. So 1 single crochet, turning it a little bit, 2 single crochets in that same end stitch, turn a little bit more, 3 single crochets in that end stitch. And now we should be on the other side, and we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1 increase in this last stitch. So 1 and 2 in this end stitch. So it should look like this, and your next stitch is going to start right here. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. I find it really helps me when I get around to the other side on the next row, so I know where my row ends. And we are going to just do 12 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and let it curve away from you if it starts curving. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now it should look like this. Row 3, 12 single crochets all the way around, and make sure you're starting in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now it should be looking like this. Row 4, we're going to start with 7 single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to do 4 increases across. So increase, that's 1, increase again, that's 2, increase again, that's 3, increase again, that's 4. Then you should have 1 single crochet left, and then we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then we'll tie that off. Leave yourself enough of a tail to sew that on. So I like to, when mine's doubled, I wrap it around. That'll give me lots, and then I give myself a little bit of a tail. And we can also pull our stitch marker out. Okay, we're going to sew the beak on right now. So we're going to add a little bit of stuffing. And when we're stuffing it, we want the front of the beak to kind of be flat. And then kind of, so we want this part to be flat and then kind of a little bit raised at the top. If you don't get stuffing in this part, that's okay. You can kind of squish it around after if you need to. So I'm just getting a nice level amount of stuffing across. Then we're just going to line it up in the center. If you used safety eyes and they're in the same spot as mine, I'm just 1 row down from where we inserted them. Just make sure it's straight. Kind of use these stitches right here to line it up. Grab your pins. And I'm just going to start pinning in that first row. I'm going to put 3 pins in the top. So I'm just putting 1 in every stitch. And then wherever it just kind of falls naturally on the bottom here, I'm just going to add a couple more pins. So 1 in the middle, and then 1 in the side. And I'm pulling it down to line up in that row. And I'm doing it in every second stitch. have a look, make sure you like where it is. And I'm kind of letting mine kind of go at an angle here. So the top will be straight and then this will be an angle. So then I'm just going to pin that by going on the side here. If you want, you can pull it out. Make sure your stuffing stays under. So I'm pulling mine out a bit so it's kind of even with the middle of the eye. I got to do that on the same other side. Line that up. Pull it over a bit. And then I'm just going to put a couple of pins to secure it there so it don't move. When I sew mine on, this is where I end up having a mistake, if I'm going to have a mistake. All right, so that should be good. So let's get our darning needle out. We'll thread our tail on. And to begin, we are going to try and go right where our knot is, underneath the beak, into the head. Try and find a hole if you can. And then come around a stitch in the head and out. If you can, pull that knot under into the hole. Then you're going to come up the next stitch. So this is our slip stitch. Don't worry if you deform the nose a little bit. As long as it's staying straight, you can fix it after. We're going to go in the next stitch, around a row in the head and out. It's not usually that hard to pull through. Oh, I see what's happening. I got a pin there. So yeah, keep always checking that that's staying straight. Then we're going to go up the next stitch and then just keep going around like that. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to chat a little bit. If you ever want to share any of the things you made with me, I have a craft page on Facebook. You can go over there. You don't have to join or anything. You just find a post and you can leave a photo or a comment. I love seeing everything you guys come up with and the different colors you use or little changes that you make. Oh, one thing I also forgot to mention is make sure you're keeping your stitches underneath your nose. You see how I'm going down and out and then going back in? That'll keep them nice and clean and you won't see your stitches when you're done. All right, I'm getting to the spot where I have a bit of a hard time, so I'm just going to watch that I'm staying nice and straight. I usually go into these two stitches and then that helps. And then I'll go into those two stitches on the other side when I get there. Anything else? And then as I get up to the top, I'm just going to go across this whole row, nice and straight. So these top 3 stitches are all in a row. And then like I did before, I'm going to go down and across. close to where my starting knot was. So that's my starting knot right there. So I'm going to skip that slip stitch, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch, because when you go in the round, sometimes there's a little bit of a space there, and I'm just going to cinch those 2 stitches together, come back up, and then I got to come down here somewhere and find a stitch to go into to tie my knot. So I'm not going into the head at all here. I'm just fixing that little space. And then I'm going to find a stitch that I sewed, not the head and not the beak. I just want that stitch right there. It's usually not that hard to get. There we go. So see, I just have one little stitch, and then I'm going to tie my knot. Try and keep it under the nose if you can, or the beak. And then we'll hide that down inside and out the back somewhere. Give it a good pull to pull that knot in and under. And then you may have to fix right here where you pulled everything out of shape. Now you're going to grab a little chunk of whatever color your head color is. And we're going to pull the eyes together. All we're going to do is we're going to go down through the center somewhere in between the eyes. So in the eye row where we put our posts, we're going to come out on the inside of one eye, right in the middle. Leave a little bit of thread on one side. We're going to go around the eye post. If you made your own eyes, you just skip going around the post. So you went in here and you'll come out here. You're going to match that on the other side. Go around your eye post. And again, if you made your own eyes, skip the going around and you'll just go here to here. Go down and then come up where you started. Now you're going to give this one little knot, and you're going to pull it as you push down and together to just kind of decide where you want your eyes to come into. Just be careful you don't bring them too close and they end up cross-eyed. So I think that's far enough for me. It just gives it a nice little indent there. Then you're going to re-thread those ends. Not working today. There we go. Go in that same hole and out the back. Give it a good pull. Cut your ends. And then you may have to fix this little hole right here where you went in. Just squish your stitches around a bit. Now you're going to grab a little scrap of white, thread that on. This time we're going to go on the outside of the eye. I'm just going to catch a stitch here, like just inside that stitch in between, just so that my white part doesn't slide around under the eye. And then when I get to this side, I just got to grab a little piece of a stitch there. Leave an equal amount on both sides, and then just decide where you want your eye accents to go. So you can go down, whoops, you can come up. I'm going to be going down, so I'm just going to go to the inside corner of my eye. Again, go into some yarn if you can, and then it doesn't pull under your eye. And just come out the center somewhere. Make sure you're in a hole. And gently pull through. You don't want to pull these too tight because they will slip under. And then just do the same thing to the other side. Thread your needle. And wherever you went on this side, you want to match on this side. And then come up. And again, pull that gently, just tight enough so it'll stay. And then you're going to give this a tie loosely. And then a little tighter on your next time. We'll thread those in. And then put those out the back. Pull this gently. Sometimes I like to watch, and then as soon as it pops through, I just come back here and try and gently pull the ends out. Give them a cut without pulling. And then if you have a little piece like that right there, you just come beside in a couple stitches and swoop it down. Come back and fix this if you have a little hole or divot there. All right, now we're going to do the eyebrows, and all I'm going to do is take a piece of black thread and separate the little pieces. So I've done this a couple of times already with this one, so I only have 2 left, but usually there's 4 strands. And you'll just separate those pieces. If you have embroidery yarn, that will work better. But I'm just going to use my yarn that I have beside me, and we're just going to thread that on. And you're going to go up 2 rows from the inside of the eye. So 1, 2, and then you're going to match that on this side. So it's going to be just like this. You're going to pull half your yarn through and leave half on the other side, just like when we did the white for the eyes. And then just play around with where you want your eyes to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go 2 holes over from my top of my eye. So here's my eye. I have a hole right here. And I have a hole right here, and that's where I'm going to go. And remember, if you're using dark yarn with a light background or a light yarn with a dark background, grab a chunk of stuffing as you're coming around the inside, and then you won't see that. Thread your other end on. And do the exact same thing you did for this side. So I'm just at the top of my eye, 1 hole, 2 holes, grab some stuffing, and then come up where my other end is. Then we're going to give that a tie. We're going to do it loosely, just like we did the eye accents, just so we don't pull those any tighter or out of place. Thread the ends back on. and out that same hole out the back. And again, we're going to do this gently so we don't pull our eyebrows. So if you need to, watch how it goes through, and then as soon as it pops through, stop pulling. We're going to give this a cut without pulling our yarn. Swoop that end out of the way. Oh, there we go. And then fix this little batch of stitches if you need to. And then we'll give them some little tuft of hair on top. So all I got is a scrap piece of matching yarn. I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers twice because I'm only doing 2 pieces. And then just cut them to match. You're going to grab your hook. Fold your, oh sorry, I guess I need my ducky first. So we're going to insert our hook into the center loop where we started, and we're going to come straight out, just kind of line up between the eyebrows or use the nose, whichever is easiest. Fold that yarn over top of your hook. You're going to pull that through, and then you're going to grab these ends and you're going to pull them through this loop you just made with your hook. And you of course can do more. I just seem to tend to like the 4 sticking up. And then I just give them a good pull to tighten this little knob at the bottom. Give them a cut if you want them a little shorter. And there you go. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed crocheting your little duck with me, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. I'd also like to give a big thank you to all of you that have been so kind to have hit the thanks button and sent me such generous donations. You will now be listed at the end of all my next videos as my super thanks friends. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.